Okay, so you're here with us because you like to get to the heart of the matter, right? You want to really understand what's going on without all the extra stuff. And today we're diving deep into something that really matters to you. As a pet owner, as somebody who cares about your community, we're looking at the struggles that often go unnoticed of the very people that you trust with the health and well-being of your animals. And we've got this article here from the Bearded Bark, that was written for the veterinary community, but it's got a really powerful message for all of us, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And what we're going to try to do today in this deep dive is sort of unpack all the challenges that a lot of veterinarians face, especially the ones that have been serving our local communities for years. You know, like it's easy to focus on our pets,
Sure.
right? Because their care is obviously super important, but we also need to understand all this pressure that these professionals are under. It's not just about the health of the animals, it's about the well-being of the people who take care of them.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. There's a story in the article that really got to me. It talks about this older veterinarian, this woman in her 70s. She spent decades caring for animals in her small town. And you want to know the worst part? Her clinic is literally falling apart. We're talking like serious plumbing problems, so bad
Mm-hmm.
that she's having to deal with raw sewage because there's just no money to fix it.
Yeah, it's pretty awful, right? And it just shows how much she's carrying on her shoulders. This isn't some brand new practice that's just getting started. This clinic has been around forever. It's like a pillar of the community, you know? The article even says that the building is basically sitting on rotting supports. So it's not just a leaky faucet or something. This is a huge structural problem that shows how much financial strain she's under. And it gets worse. So a while back, she tried to make things better. She invested in a renovation, but it turned into a total disaster. She got taken advantage of, basically, and it left her in even worse shape financially. The article says she could have just sold the practice and probably been set for life. But she chose to stay because she felt like it was the right thing to do for her town.
And that's really admirable,
Yeah.
right? But that decision has come at a big cost to her personally. The article says she's barely keeping her head above water financially. She's struggling to pay her bills to make payroll. She's even relying on her suppliers to be understanding and let her slide on payments. Can you imagine the stress of that? Worrying about your business surviving, being able to pay your staff, all while still trying to take care of these animals.
It's a lot. The article even mentions how something as normal as jury duty is a huge source of stress for her, because being away from the clinic for even a week could mean that it has to close down. It's not just a job for her, it's everything. And the thing is, this isn't some unique, isolated case. The Bearded Bark makes that very clear.
Exactly. What really struck me was the pattern that the article started to show. These vets we're talking about, they've been there for their communities through everything. Often they were there before the town really started to grow and develop. They cared for generations of pets. They nurtured these communities, and now as things around them are getting better, they're the ones getting left behind, struggling to stay open. It makes you wonder how much these communities actually value these vets.
Yeah. And this leads into some pretty concerning statistics. The Bearded Bark cites data from the AVMA, the American Veterinary Medical Association, and these numbers paint a really bleak picture. It says that something like 10% of vets are dealing with serious psychological distress. Now, that might not sound so crazy given how demanding their job is, but it's actually way higher than the general population. It means that this profession is under a ton of pressure.
And when you look closer at that 10%, it gets even scarier. 98% of them are also dealing with depression, and 88% are burned out. We're not talking about like everyday stress here.
Yeah.
This is serious mental health stuff that affects their ability to function and to provide the best care.
Yeah, it's intense. But the stat that really floored me was this. Over 24% of vets have actually considered suicide at some point in their careers. Like, let that sink in for a second. These are the same people we turn to when we have to make those tough decisions about our pets, especially at the end of their lives. And they're facing this level of despair. It really makes you think about what they're going through.
It does. And when you think about it from the perspective of a pet owner, like how is the care that we expect for our animals, especially at the end of their lives, how has that changed? The article reminds us that decades ago, this stuff was often handled much more privately. There wasn't always the same level of medical and emotional support that we have now. But today, vet teams offer this incredibly compassionate and dignified care, and they help guide us through grief and loss.
And isn't it kind of ironic? The people who are giving us this support, who are there for us in these really hard times, are the ones facing so much mental and financial strain. It's like they're carrying this huge weight that most people don't even see. What does that say about us if the people who take care of our animals are struggling to survive themselves?
That's a good question. And it brings us to this important point. How can we as a community, and this goes back to who the Bearded Bark was writing to, how can we support these vets? The article doesn't just talk about the problems. It offers some real solutions of things
Yeah.
we can actually do.
Yeah, it talks directly to construction professionals, tradespeople, community leaders. It says, look, we need help fixing broken plumbing. We need unsafe structures reinforced. We need people to donate materials or even just offer a few hours of their time to help out. What really resonated with me was that even small things can make a huge difference. It could be the difference between a clinic staying open or having to shut down.
And the article makes this great point. A lot of these people are already involved in their communities. They're already doing stuff to help out. So this isn't about adding more to their plate. It's about giving them a chance to help out in a way that directly benefits everyone who has a pet. It's about helping a neighbor, someone who probably took care of their animals or the animals of someone they know. It's a way to see your contribution make a real difference.
Totally. But it doesn't stop there. The Bearded Bark also talks directly to vets and clinic teams who are going through these tough times. It gives them a really simple first step. Reach out, send an email to thebeardedbark@gmail.com. The article knows that they can't solve every problem, but they're trying to connect people who need help with the resources that are out there. It's about building a network of support for these vets.
It's about taking action at a grassroots level. Like the article says, this movement starts small. One clinic, one crew, one act of generosity. But together, we can build something bigger. It's not about waiting for some big government bailout or something. It's about coming together as a community and using our skills and resources to make a difference.
So as you go about your day, and especially the next time you're with your pet, whether you're just chilling on the couch or playing fetch in the park, take a second to think about all the work your vet does. They're a huge part of the reason your pet is happy and healthy, and that brings joy to your life too. They're not just there for the appointments, they do so much more.
Right. The love and companionship that our pets give us, that's often because of the hard work and dedication of these vets. They're there for the regular checkups, the unexpected illnesses, the accidents, and yeah, the really tough stuff at the end. They're there for it all. Their knowledge and compassion are there throughout our pets' lives, and by extension throughout our lives too.
And that brings us to the main point of this whole deep dive, which is this: your vet needs your help. As the Bearded Bark puts it, let's show up for them the way they've always shown up for us. It's a two-way street, and right now they need us.
Exactly. And on that note, I want you to think about this. What's one small thing you can do in your community to help the vets who take care of your pets? It could be as simple as saying thank you next time you're at the clinic. Maybe ask if there's anything you can do to help out. Or see if there are any local groups that are already supporting vets.
Wow.
It's about recognizing how important they are and finding a way, even a small way, to give back to those who give so much to our animals and to us.